Stallion, why should I come to the Passive Income Retreat in Denver, Colorado this October?
You should come to this retreat if you're saying to yourself right now, I need passive income to come from my active income. If you're the person in your circle that is the most successful and you have nowhere else to go, and all those passive income ideas seem very elusive, but you know in reality you've never slowed down to actually figure it out.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, you must come if missing out on another summer, right? Like when you think about how many summers you have left with your kids and you're like, how many more summers can I afford to miss because I am burning 60 to 80 hours a week in my job, regardless of how much money you make. Your family doesn't care. They want time with you. These opportunities, they're giving you an opportunity to sit in a room with 8 and 9-figure entrepreneurs so that you can figure out how to create financial freedom that exceeds your monthly expenses is what this event's about. Don't miss the opportunity to come to Denver, Colorado, be with the Stallion and I, and about 50 to 60 other highly successful entrepreneurs like yourself. Go to thepassiveincomeretreat.com and sign up right now. Limited spots available.
Wealth Without Wall Street Tribe. How many of you have been wondering about this thing called artificial intelligence, AI, as everybody has been passing it around? I mean, I'll tell you one person that hasn't been wondering about it. It's our good friend, Russ Morgan. He's been using artificial intelligence for years, way before it was cool, making up crap on the spot, just to make you happy. So Russ, what are your thoughts on Joe Stolte, our guest today?
Oh man, so good. I have heard that ChatGPT, if you ask it questions and it doesn't know the answer, it will make up stuff. So maybe me and AI have something in common, right? Like I don't make it up on purpose. I just tend to, get vague in the details and just, make it sound a little better than maybe it really was sometimes. That's the way I think about it. And that's a gift passed down from my dad. But yeah, today's guest, Joe Stolte, is definitely someone we should be listening to. He's a multi-exit tech entrepreneur, somebody who's been diving deep into the AI space for the last several years. And he's going to help us in this episode, Tribe, just help us better understand, where does AI play? Is it going to make our lives better? What are ways that it can make it worse? Will it replace our jobs, or is it just a good intern? If you're interested in how this plays out in the workplace, as well as how can you actually start to be more effective and efficient in your work, this is going to be a good episode. Joey, one of our good friends, Sharon Srivatsa, says a lot that, amateurs automate for efficiency, right? But experts, professionals automate for perfection. And I do see that as a valuable use of using an AI tool to continue to make what we do easier, but more importantly, take out the human miscalculations, the human errors, or the Russes, if you want to. So let's jump in right now with this episode with Joe Stolte.
Welcome to the Wealth Without Wall Street podcast, your guide to understanding how to get out of the Wall Street rat race and start your own mailbox money lifestyle. Now, don't let these handsome Southern draws fool you. These financial minds are teaching our country to enhance savings, increase cash flow, and create passive income, all without the help of Wall Street. Are you ready to break through? Now here are your hosts, Russ Morgan and Joey Murray.
Wealth Without Wall Street Tribe. Today is the day you get all of your AI questions answered with our good friend Joe Stolte in the house. So glad to have you, Joe.
Really good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Joey can't even spell AI, so we're going to have to really break this down to a very small level for him, okay? If that's okay. And
seriously, come on.
I want to know why AI? Why is this important? But before we get there, can you give us a little background? How did you even get to this point?
Yeah, happy to. So, I like to say that my mercifully short self-aggrandizing intro is as follows. I'm a 5-time technology founder with 3 successful exits, which means I was able to successfully take, a company out for a sale or take it public. And, prior to that, I spent a couple of years at Microsoft in corporate America. And, most recently, 2021, I was able to sell a company. We took it out to market for $62.5 million. We took the company from $900K in annual recurring revenue to about 8 million in annual recurring revenue in less than 3 years in the middle of the pandemic. And then we sold it. And, the way that we did that is we used email, right? We were in a regulated market, so we could not run paid ads. And so we built a really great sales team, and we used email as the backbone of how we generated leads, drove retention, got the second sale in the business to really drive sales up that much. And I realized, man, email is an incredible tool. Everybody still uses email in their business. In fact, I do these keynotes all over the country, and I'll say, hey, raise your hand if you use email in your business, and all the hands go up. And I'll say, keep your hand in the air if you use TikTok, and like 80% of the hands go down. And so as I was selling that business, I was like, hey, what's going on in the rest of the world? I'd love to get right into my next company. And I was able to meet one of my business partners, Dr. Peter Diamandis, who's the founder of X Prize and Singularity University and a multiple New York Times bestselling author. He's kind of like at the forefront of technology and what's going on in the future. And he had this prototype that they had put together out of their company, PhD Labs. And man, I saw it and I realized this is incredible technology. It's what we do now. It's using AI to automate email, and we'll get into that here in a second. But this is back in 2021 when this was happening. It wasn't like 9 months ago we were selling crypto, and then all of a sudden AI got big, and we're like, hey, we're selling AI. So in AI, it's like dog years. So 2021 to now is quite a bit of time to be in the marketplace and getting up the experience curve. And I was fortunate enough to see the little prototype that they made, build the team around it, get some capital, bring it to market. And so we ran a beta for our platform last year for all of 2022. And so I got kind of like a 14-month head start into learning about AI, applying it in our business, applying it in other people's businesses, and really right where the rubber meets the road. Aside from the hype, how does this work? How does this not work? And here we are in the middle of 2023, and I feel very fortunate to have tapped into this AI stuff right before the market wave and the Cambrian explosion of all things AI happened at the end of 2022. So I'll just start by saying, I don't have all the answers, but I've been in the game really applying this stuff for almost 2 years now, and I've got a few things figured out. So that's why you should listen to me on AI. If that makes sense.
No, I love that. And here's the point that you made that we reiterated sometimes on our show, and especially in our masterminds, that email is where serious business is done, right? Like the social media information age that we have is a very scrolling, very short-term type opportunity where once you get somebody who is really interested, they're going to go to email. You're going to send them a DocuSign, not in a social media post, but in an email, right? And it's so important as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, to understand how email benefits you. And I definitely want to get into how you're doing AI. Well, at the same time, I mean, everybody now has at least heard of ChatGPT, whether they've figured out how to use it or are using it. So we know that there's ways that this can benefit us both on a personal level. My kids are trying to figure out how to write papers on it. They're not, but I'm sure there are some out there. I would have been one of those kids doing it. So I would love to.
100% you would be doing that. There's no question, Russ.
If I could have figured out how to use it, Joey. So right,
you would have paid somebody else to figure it out, but you'd have been using AI.
Right. There would have been definitely someone who was a little more homely, that didn't go out as much, that I would be, tapping for that opportunity. All right, but let's talk about a couple of things. How does this benefit us on a personal level? How does this benefit us into building passive income? That's the brand. That's what we're trying to do, become financially free where our passive income exceeds our monthly expenses. And how does this benefit us if we run a business? How can we take that business from active to passive? So let's start on the personal level. What are some of the ways you're seeing people utilize this technology? And let's go a little deeper there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what I'll try to do is give you and your audience some mental models around how to think about AI, because this stuff is going to change so fast. Anything I say now is going to be dated in a week or a month or 6 weeks or a year. And I want this to be a timeless, valuable set of principles that you can use to think about AI. And I will answer specifically kind of what I'm seeing right now. One of the mental models that really helps us figure out how to use AI is we think about AI right now, specifically generative AI. These are tools like ChatGPT or Midjourney with imagery and DALL-E 2. We think about these as really, 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 really good interns. meaning we wouldn't ship intern work to the marketplace, but they're really good. It's really good for certain use cases. And so the first thing I want to say is that that will not be the case forever. But today, middle 2023-ish, this is how we think about AI. So as you're using these tools in any capacity that you're using them, think about it that way. You're still going to need to bring your expertise, your intuition, your knowledge, your all the things that you've learned to the party to get the most out of AI as a tool. It's not going to do the job for you, not yet in many cases, but it'll get you pretty far. And then if you can add your expertise, your team's expertise, or the expertise of others, then you can take things even farther. But one of the other thing that just from a principle perspective and thinking top down, there's two things that AI are bringing to us as business owners, as investors, as people that want to get more capital and capture our time and maximize our freedom. And the first one is personalization. And the second one is automation. So AI is really good at personalizing things, right? So taking a set of data, looking at how your audience is behaving or how things are going on in your marketplace, and then personalizing it for them, right? Writing a message like just to that person or that individual, or communicating to that one person or that individual. And the second one is automation. It's really, really good at giving you time back, and not just you, but your team. So if you think about it, let's take a tool like ChatGPT, for example. And just to start at the very beginning, ChatGPT is a generative AI chatbot. It's a phenomenal tool, but the way it works is very simple. It's input, process, output. You put an input like a text prompt, hey, write me a blog post, or you ask it a question. It goes through its process, which is what we call a large language learning model, which under the hood has more complicated terms like a neural net. And basically it's the AI. The AI is the process. It'll process your request, and then it'll basically give you an output. And all it's really trying to do at a basic level is if you give it 3 inputs, can it predict the 4th output with higher and higher degrees of accuracy? So what does that look like? It looks like you can go download ChatGPT and type in a prompt and have it automate some of your work tasks, right? And so whether you're an admin and you have an admin in your team that's responding to your emails and needs to write templates or think about how to respond to a sticky situation, well, now we can make ChatGPT our thought partner in that process and never start with a blank sheet of paper ever again, so to speak. So that the AI tool can always write something for you to get started, and then you can use your expertise and your intuition to make it better. It's the same thing on images, right? So we can now put prompts in and get images that are incredible that come out of it, the AI created imagery. And then by the end of this year and certainly next year, we're going to have very similar things with audio. So I can type, even right now, there's incredible tools where if I type out a script and I give it a sample of my voice, it will basically do an audio deep fake of my voice, and it'll sound just like me. And now the same thing is being true on video, right? The video quality is good. It's not outstanding, but you're going to see that elevation of quality. It's going to go text, imagery, audio, video. And by this time next year, and I'm not an expert, I don't know, I can't predict the future, but I would suspect that we're going to have incredibly high fidelity video and very, very, very good video to the point where it'll be difficult for you to distinguish, is that a human, or is that an AI? Certainly your mother or your grandmother would have trouble distinguishing the two. And so that's the kind of world that we're stepping into. And so if you think about that, how can you use that in your business to get your time back? Right? Anytime you're shooting a video or writing something or using an image or using like any of those mediums, now all of a sudden we can work with AI as our partner and dramatically reduce the amount of time that it takes to produce something.
Speaking of, I actually have been playing around a little bit with this myself, and you talk about it being your partner. I think there's real opportunity within this podcast even for me to enhance my partner in terms of audio and video quality. So this is a real win for me. I don't know about you guys. I don't know that you'll be able to tell the difference, except that his language will get better. His
That's exactly how they'll know it's not me, is because the image and audio quality will be good because it's not like broken up with all the bad internet, right? Like unless you can figure out how to integrate, also have a scratchy, audio and a slight redneck twang. And
this is awesome. Okay, I don't want to interrupt.
But Joe, I do want to point this out because I think obviously one of the reasons our show exists and people come back every single week to hear it is a lot of times they're tired of trading time for money. and they've been trading time for money. They've been working for someone else. They've been building someone else's future. They are giving up all of the time that they want with their family, the opportunities that they want to hit and achieve. And I think this is another even motivation to that, to say, your job may be one of those that's going to get automated from AI, and even more importance as to why you need to learn how to become a better investor so you can start creating this for yourself. True?
100%. 100%.
What a great point.
If you've listened to our show for any length of time, you've heard us talk about infinite banking and how we are able to use that concept to create over $50,000 a month in passive income. But it's just not that easy to figure out, how does this all connect into my own personal system?
Stallion, that's why we created the passive income operating system, bro. It shows you how to turn active income into passive income. It makes all the steps come together. If you would like to get access to it as a podcast listener, we've never given this away in public before, go to what'swhatwallstreet.com/PIOS. There was nothing worse than walking into class when you're in school and the teacher saying, pop quiz day. Why? Because you were unprepared. Are you unprepared though for financial freedom?
Don't be. Find out how close you are by taking our 30-second quiz at wealthwithoutwallstreet.com/quiz.
Yeah, I think there's a tremendous opportunity to leverage these tools right now to make a categorical leap ahead in whatever you want to make a leap ahead in, right? And let me just say this. I was talking to one of our customers, Dan Sullivan. He runs Strategic Coach. And Dan's awesome, very wise guy. I think he's the oldest, longest running entrepreneurial coach on the planet, at least in the English speaking world. And we were in a group with Joe Polish and a few other people. And he said something that really stuck with me. And he said, you know what? We're really bad as humans. We're really, really, really bad at basically predicting the future, right? Maybe some of us can do it for the short term or a little bit, okay, but we're really bad at sort of predicting what's going to happen. But we're really good at assigning meanings to everything. We're good at like meaning makers. And so I think the important thing with AI is to just make a decision, right? Like, since none of us can predict the future, I can't say with a high degree of accuracy what's going to happen with AI. And by the way, if anybody does, like, it's definitely going to be like this and it's definitely going to be like that, be careful. They're probably going to start selling you something. But anyone that has like a really high degree of conviction of what's going to happen in the future, it's important to recognize they're just trying to sell you on the meaning that they've attached to something in the marketplace. But also, I think it's important that you can just make a decision. What meaning am I going to attach to all this change that AI brings? And the meaning that I choose to attach and that I'm actually seeing in the world is that it's going to be a huge multiplier for your freedom, for making more money, for getting more time back. If you think about the keys to your freedom, it's like other people's money and other people's time. Those are two good components to get you there, right? Well, if we're going to talk about other people's time, if I'm going to work with other people eventually or leverage other people, these people now have incredible tools that they can use to save lots of time and get you a lot more output for your business in far less time and far less input, far less things that you need to give them. And maybe you're not the place where you're working with other people or their time yet, then you start with yourself. Right? What needs to be true for you to get free of your job or to get to that next level of your wealth? Well, if you're going to be the one driving that and executing on it, we can help you use AI tools, or you can help yourself use AI tools that can take lots of time out of the equation. Things that took months can take days or seconds. And that's the kind of world that we're living in, where if you decide to make this your moment and AI your ally, man, you have such an opportunity where opportunities didn't even exist a few years ago. And now you can use these to get ahead, like way farther ahead than anybody's had the opportunity to do in the past.
Joe, do you believe we're still in this early adopter phase to this, or have we moved further down that curve?
Yeah, I think we're still in the early adopter phase. It depends on, AI is a really big term. You know, AI includes things like machine learning, which is mostly what I've been talking about. Natural language processing or computer vision, which is, the cameras and the stuff that drives my Tesla. So there's lots of different types of AI, and AI has been around in our lives for a long time. I mean, I've had a Tesla for a while and it's been driving itself for a while. Netflix has been suggesting the shows that it thinks that I want to watch for a while. Amazon's been suggesting the products that I want to watch for a while. My phone, when it takes a picture, it doesn't take one picture, it takes like 5 and it stitches them all together in the best image. That's all AI. I was recently in Japan and I put my clothes in the washing machine and I just put the soap in, and it can tell if it's darks or lights, how long it needed to wash it, if I needed to be, it dries it and washes it. And it does it with the least amount of electricity at night, with the least amount of sound while you sleep. That's just AI balancing your washing machine all the time. And so AI has been around, and it's going to continue to just proliferate. It's just more in our face now because we have these generative tools that we can communicate with, and it feels like we're talking to a super intelligence. But this is another mental model that I think is important to write down or remember, is that if you know who Kevin Kelly is, he's the editor-in-chief of Wired magazine. And I think back in 2016, he said something really profound. He said, everything that has been electrified will be cognified, meaning everything with electricity is eventually going to have AI inside of it, making it smarter. So if you want to know where the next billion-dollar company is going to come from, or billion-dollar industry is going to come from, just look at things that have electricity that don't have that kind of intelligence in it yet. Everything from washing machines to cell phones to cameras to whatever. And that's where the big market opportunities are going to emerge. But inside of that analogy, it's another mental model of how to think about AI. AI is more like electricity than it is like the iPhone or the internet in terms of technological impact on our species, right? It's just being adopted a lot faster than electricity was adopted. So to answer your question, yes, I think we're in the bottom of the first inning. We've got a lot of game to play when it comes to AI. And I think it's going to be one of the most impactful technologies that our species has ever seen, ever.
There's no doubt about that. In fact, I think, Russ, the question that you asked is this in the early adopter phase? I don't even think that that's the right question, because it's already here. It's already going to be proliferated, to your point. It's just a matter of, are you going to be on the front side of it? And I love that you're giving us these mental models to help us to start to think properly about it. And I love the fact that you mentioned there's almost like two ways to look at this. The offensive, right, where I can take advantage of using these things to get to financial freedom as fast as possible by leveraging this tool for what it's used for. Or defensively, maybe that's the motivator for you, that you start to see that this technology is going to replace tons of different types of roles. And if you're in the way of it, you need to be making changes like right now. It's not a matter of if, it's just when. And to your point, it's going to go so quickly. Like it's not like some of the other technologies that have come out in the past where it takes time for that to roll out. It's just almost immediate. Now, specifically, Joe, I'm listening to you and I'm saying, okay, I have a business. What is a practical way that I can go take action on this right now? What is a practical application for my business that I can get on the front end of this and start to see some of these benefits?
Yep, absolutely. So what I would recommend, probably the most used tool, in fact, this is the fastest growing digital product in the history of humanity. Just get on ChatGPT. If you're not already on ChatGPT, you can get it on as an app on your phone, or you can get it on your computer, and just start interacting with it at a very basic level. Just get the app if you're not using it and start interacting with it. Start asking it questions. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. If you ask ChatGPT factual questions, it has the tendency to do what we call hallucinate, or it might get those wrong. So, if you go in and you start talking to ChatGPT and you say, hey, tell me about my business. The way that ChatGPT was constructed, it's using a data set that really ended at some point in 2021. So it doesn't really have everything that's happening from between 2021 and today. But it does have a giant corpus of data on a whole bunch of things, right? So let's say, for example, that you wanted to start a business or you're thinking about a business. Well, what I would do is I would go into ChatGPT and I would assign it a role, because ChatGPT has been trained on everything in the internet. And so you need to give it little prompts to help it understand where it's going and how you want to use it. So I might say, you are an expert in startup businesses and strategy. I want to start a business in X field, Y thing for Z customer. Give me 10 ideas of a business that I could start that can generate $10,000 a month in cash within the next months. And just what it comes out with. That's one tangible example. So let's say I'm ideating around a business that I want to create, that I want to generate cash flow in. And then once it gives you that answer, you might say, great, which of those businesses is most likely to be run as a passive business without a lot of active management involvement? And then it'll select the ones, and you might say, hey, give me 10 more ideas in the same industry with the same customer that would actually be more inclined to be run as a passive business, where I don't have to actively manage this business in order to generate a profit. And I'm just kind of making this stuff up as I go, but then you can at least see this as your thought partner. Now, should you take what it gives you as gospel? Like, that's it, that's the truth, this is the oracle? No, absolutely not. Remember what I was saying, it's only as good as a really good intern. So you got to apply your own intuition on top of that, and your judgment and your wisdom. But now all of a sudden, where you were maybe didn't have a good idea, or you didn't have conviction on your idea, now you've got this super intelligence that you can discuss these ideas with to help refine them and make them more real in your life. So that's one example, right? Another example is like, if you're going to write anything, a business document, an email, a sales letter, or a response, just go into ChatGPT and say, you are an expert in influence, human emotion, and marketing. I want to write an email to this person. Here's a situation, and I want this outcome. Please draft this email for me. And it'll give you a draft email. Again, is that going to be what you should copy, paste, and use? Probably not. But should you apply your own intuition, clean it up, make it better? Of course. But imagine if you start making this a habit, right? And if you already have a business, imagine if you start making this a habit in every single person inside of your business, from your EA to your head of sales, to your ops and fulfillment, to marketing, all of that. How much more can you get done at a higher quality than you maybe couldn't have done before? It's extraordinary. And it's like free. And if you want to use the paid version, it's like, I don't know, like $20 a month. Talk about an ROI. You'll get like an annual ROI in the first 30 minutes of using it if you know what you're doing.
Well, and the old saying is that everything we do is compared to what everyone else is doing. So if everyone else is trying to just lug through it, right? Just plot their way through a process and do it inefficiently, but we are finding ways to do it efficiently, then we're going to have successes that's going to be measured against theirs, which again, that's how we're able to gather more assets, be able to accomplish things faster, get more time back. All of that provides an advantage. I think that we need to know how to do it. All right. So one of the things that we were super interested in that you're working on right now is a newsletter from the AI standpoint that's able to gather lots of details, give people insights, very personalized, as you were talking about before. Would you talk a little bit about that product that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So today I'm the CEO of a company called steadily.ai. And what we do is we create AI automated email newsletters for companies that have typically less than 100 employees. And these newsletters are able to get 40 to 60% open rates on average, which is anywhere from 2 to 10 times the industry average that most people are getting on their open rates. What does that mean? That means we're able to help you create a newsletter that engages your customers and your prospects and grabs their attention every month, every week, every day, if you choose, in less than 5 minutes of your time per week. And what we really thought about when we wanted to build this company, our core principle inside the company is outcomes over outputs. Everything I just told you of what you can do in ChatGPT is incredible. It'll give you really good outputs. But if those outputs don't get a better result than what you would have done as a team, and you're not tracking the data to see if it's actually making an improvement for you, then it's not. If it doesn't move the needle in your business, then it's not valuable. It's cool. It gives you this huge rush of novelty and dopamine to get that response out of that ChatGPT or whatever the tool is. But I get that same rush watching Netflix. And if that output doesn't move the needle in your business to give you an outcome, then it's about as useful to your business as watching Netflix, which is why at steadily.ai, we have an AI plus human solution. So we really work as your partner to make it's a done for you service. So we work as your partner to make sure that you're getting an outcome in your business. You're getting more of your people to open more of your emails and click on more of whatever it is that you're selling inside of those emails so that we can generate more leads and sales for your business. Those are the outcomes that we partner with our clients and customers and publishers to get, every single day. And that's just the beginning. We have a much, much bigger vision of where we're going with this, but that's what we've been great at. And, today we've got over 100 customers in 20 different industries, 12 New York Times bestselling authors, everyone from my business partner, Peter Diamandis, to Chris Voss, to Joe Polish, to Dan Sullivan, JJ Virgin. I could keep going on and on. You don't have to be a famous author for this to work for you. We work with real estate agents and investors, advisors, coffee shops, the National Electricians Association of Australia, and on and on and on. But the main thing is we really wanted to attack this space of email and staying in touch with your customers, because we looked at the data, and 80% of businesses with less than 100 employees, they spend multiple weeks writing a marketing email, and about a third of that time is spent on what do I put in the dang email. And then once they publish it, 40% of content you put it in the marketplace actually pushes your customer away. Why? Because it's the wrong message, wrong prospect, wrong time. Well, and the way that we solve that is every time a customer or a subscriber opens your newsletter on our platform, our AI gets smarter and smarter and smarter, because it's paying attention to what each individual is clicking on, and it's learning from that over time, and it's adjusting to it. So it's not like you have to guess what your audience is into. Our AI helps you figure that out over time. It's like having a little machine learning data scientist looking at what all your subscribers are doing and working 24/7 around the clock relentlessly to make sure that it's making the next best version of your newsletter that's going to engage your customers at a maximum level. And that's the power of AI when you really start thinking about it in terms of outcomes and not just outputs. That's really what we focused on.
It makes total sense how you guys are setting that up and continue to use the technology to learn what people want. Talk to me about like an example, somebody's business in particular, a case study maybe before they implemented this process to after. Maybe I know it's probably not years of data set that we can go back to, but even just months. What kind of results is that, or outcomes, as you put it, are you seeing happen as a result?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll share some specific examples. So Joe Polish put his book out last year. It's called What's in It for Them. And we helped him launch his AI companion newsletter for that book. And it's a great newsletter. It's a companion to the book. You can get it at connectioninsider.ai. And that's the name of the newsletter. It's called Connection Insider. And so we were able to take Joe's audience, both from the book and his established audience, and basically double the open rates that he was able to get to his audience. And more importantly than doubling the open rate, although that's super important, we were able to take the amount of time that his team constructs on newsletters down by like 90%. They spend less than 5 minutes every week reviewing the email that our product puts out and approving it or giving us little bits of feedback to tweak before it goes out. And that's it. And every single week, they get the higher open rate to engage their audience more and get those people to click on more ads. And all those like views, which in marketing we call CPMs, all those CPMs are free because they're getting them they don't have to pay for those. They're not buying ads. They're not buying traffic to get eyeballs on their offers and their content. And they're not spending any time on it. They're spending less than 5 minutes a week. Another example is, last February when Tony Robbins and Dr. Peter Diamandis, Dr. Robert Harari put out a book called Life Force that's all about human health and longevity. We helped them launch an AI companion newsletter called Longevity Insider. And this newsletter started with 0 subscribers and really started from the ground floor. Today it has over 42,000 subscribers. It's got a 53% open rate, and it goes out Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, 20 cents a month. That's over 20,000 people that see their content and their newsletter and their ads every single day. They don't have to pay a single dime of advertising to reach their audience. And they don't spend any time looking at the content because the AI model is so trained that it just publishes on its own every single day. So, that's the power of AI. When we really start to learn what the users are doing, we put the customer first. We start putting their interests first, and we let AI do its work. And that's really what we do for customers.
Man, Joe, fascinating stuff. I know there's so many things, right? We're only able to touch on just the tip of the pen, if you will, of the things that can come out of this technology. We're so grateful that you would come and share with us. And Tribe, you're going to be seeing this AI newsletter come out. Joe, we met him through a trusted friend and source, and it's something that we're wanting to implement into our business because we know that we want to keep giving you the most up-to-date information. So be on the lookout for that. As well as he talked about, go and check out daily.ai/. AI.com/wealth. If you're interested in this technology, actually, he's going to offer you a 10% discount if you use that code. We'd love to have you give us updates as you are introducing this technology into your own business, into your own life. Joe, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you guys.
All right, tribe. Time to take action. Daily.ai/wealth. If this is a technology you need to be utilizing in your business to help you level up. Also, please take time to rate and review the show. Send it to somebody you know so that they too can get this insight that you just got. Have an amazing day.
This has been the Wealth Without Wall Street podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the show to break free of the Wall Street mindset and begin building wealth on your own terms in places you understand so that your wealth will never run dry. See you next episode.